Hello, and welcome back to HunterTuned. Today we're going to hopefully get the Mustang together and put the motor back into the car. So in the last couple days we've been kind of slowly assembling the engine, and today I actually got my replacement pistons from one of the subscribers, my buddy Murray. He actually sent over a few replacement pistons because the pistons that were in the Mustang, some of them did get a little bit damaged. I'll show you here, just like the damaged ones from the Mustang before. And Murray sent in some spare 4/8 ones, so now I have a few extra. And we replaced the really bad pistons that were in the Mustang. There's still one of them that has a little detonation, but it's just a little bit on the top here. It's nothing too crazy. But nonetheless, we did get a lot of the engine already assembled. We got the cam installed, the timing chain, the rods and pistons, obviously, the crank, oil pan, pretty much the whole lower side of the motor here is all done already. We got the lifters back installed into the motor. And I kind of wanted to run through you guys one more time of what we did to this thing. We polished the crank, we checked the clearances on all the rods, resized the connecting rods. We got new standard size Engine Tech bearings. We got Morel lifters, which I had in here before. We have the same TIC Performance Stage 3 turbo cam and AOP head studs, and that's about it. So yeah, otherwise it's still stock bottom end, stock rod and piston. Obviously these are stock pistons, you guys can verify that. But yeah, so this thing spins awesome. I can literally spin it with like one hand. It spins over very, very nicely. So yeah, so I'm just getting the deck surfaces cleaned off here, and then we're gonna get the new head gaskets on and then install the cylinder heads. I actually got the cylinder heads back from the machine shop, so they were just hot tanked, cleaned, and resurfaced to get that pitting out of the areas where it got detonation on it. And you really can't even tell now, just a very small bit right here where it has a little bit of detonation still, but it shouldn't really cause an issue. Most of the detonation is completely gone off of the cylinder heads. And then these valves are all pressure checked and everything to make sure that they're still sealing good. And then we do still have the BTR 660 valve springs and the titanium retainers there. So yeah, these heads are ready to go back on the car. And yeah, so I got a new set of the Fail Pro head gaskets. These head gaskets I was running on the Mustang before, and I pulled the head gaskets off and they still looked brand new. I probably could have threw them right back on, but just because these were under warranty, I just frickin' exchanged them for a new set. And now we're just gonna throw them on and get the head studs torqued down, and then we're gonna put our push rods in and our rockers and all that stuff. So yeah, and then we got motor mounts, and then we got to bolt the tranny up to the engine and get the converter installed and do some of that. So anyways, while I'm sitting here working, Michael is playing PUBG.
Not just me.
Oh, Christian's playing PUBG too.
Squad up.
Alrighty guys, so it's the next day now, and we got a lot of work done last night. Didn't really film a whole lot of stuff, but we did get the engine completely assembled into the car now. So we have the motor and transmission all installed into the car. And just got the tranny cross member on, and got pretty much everything done. So we just got to get the drive shaft in, tranny shifter, and the drive shaft and stuff like that. So I've been working on hooking the shifter up on the transmission, and I just got this transmission rebuilt. So I've had good luck in the past with this transmission, going to a guy local here, and he rebuilt my transmission the last time around and everything worked out good. And then it started whining after I put this new engine in. I rebuilt the motor in the fall and then kind of went through it all, put it back in, and just threw the transmission back in because I didn't have issues with it before that. But I threw the transmission back in with the old Summit converter, and I don't think I topped the converter back off when I put the converter back into the transmission. And I think I hurt the converter in the process of doing that. Maybe I installed the converter dry. I don't know if that would hurt it or not, but it started whining. The transmission started whining after literally just changing the engine. I didn't touch the transmission or anything like that, but I took the converter out and put it back in, and it leaked the fluid out of the converter, and I'm thinking that's why the trans started to whine and have issues. So I got a new converter, obviously. I got that PTC 9.5-inch converter now, and we got everything back installed, and I took the transmission to the rebuilder just to kind of get a freshen up on it, just to make sure that you know, nothing inside was damaged. And he said that the direct drum clutches or something were a little bit smoked, but everything else looked good. He put a couple, new clutches and seals in the thing, and here we are. Got the transmission in the car, and now the shifter is seeming to have issues. Normally on a TH400 you have like a, I'll show you guys here, I'll crawl under the car. So down here you have a spot where the shifter bolts on, and it bolts on to where this nut is, where my finger is right now, and this nut and whole shaft literally just spins. It doesn't click or nothing. And when it did, like when I first got it, it had a lot of slop in it. Like it wasn't actually engaging any gears. So yeah, that sucks. It kind of makes me a little nervous because the shifter doesn't even shift. So I'm assuming that under the tranny pan, thank God I don't have fluid in this thing yet, otherwise that would be a really annoying situation. But considering there's no fluid in it, I'm going to just look at the shifter on the thing, because there is like a little tang that kind of clicks into each little spot on the setup here, and I don't know if maybe one of those bolts is loose or what's going on with that, but it sucks because I mean I kind of trust. This is why I don't have other people work on my stuff, because when it comes back and it doesn't work how you intended, it is a little bit bothersome when you fork out, hundreds of dollars to have somebody else do it for you. And I understand that people make mistakes, but it's just a little bit more annoying when it happens to you when somebody else did it. So anyways, we're gonna get the pan off of this thing and see what's going on with the shifter, because like I said, I went to install the shifter to hook everything up on the car to get it to fire up, or get to firing it up, and then noticed the shifter was just like super spongy. It didn't click into gear, and it just kind of felt like crap. So yeah, something with the shifter is wrong, so we got to fix it. Alrighty guys, so it's the next day again, and well, I got the shifter fixed on the Mustang, and I failed to mention, actually, I kind of took a picture on my phone with what the issue was with the shifter inside the transmission. I had to pull the pan off, and I got a picture on my phone here. Hopefully you guys can see, but this little adjustment nut right there is actually what was loose. It was never tightened. So I just pulled the pan off and I tightened it up, and now it has all the gears again, and it's shifting good. Shifting how it should, I should say. So now that the transmission's done, we had some issues with the drive shaft as well, because this is a stock Mustang drive shaft with a truck front yoke. So it has a truck TH400 yoke and not the car one. And the trans that's in here is a car trans, so it's meant for the shorter bolt-on yoke. And the diameter of the yoke is a little bit different. And it was getting hung up on the bushing and the tail housing. And that was actually causing the drive shaft to be really sticky going in. So that was like a whole nother day of messing around and breaking shit and getting pissed off, and like a couple little problems with the car, obviously. But today, me, Michael, and Christian were out here. T-Bag was helping me yesterday, and we just ended up thrashing on this thing, and we got it all done. It is like 3-something in the morning now, and 3:11 in the morning, and we
just talked to a sheriff.
We got the Mustang done, but a sheriff just rolled up. It's like 3 in the morning, and fucking sheriff just rolled up into our shop and was
as Biggie and I are grinding away.
Yeah, we're like grinding away on a hood here. It's like 3 in the morning, whatever. And the cop rolls up, and I asked him, I'm like, oh, sorry, was there a noise complaint? And he's like, no, I was just stopping by to check it out.
Never seen anybody over here.
He's like, I never seen nobody over here. And he was asking us about the shop and stuff, and he asked us what the YouTube channel was. So if he's watching, what's up, dude? But anyway, so we got the Mustang all done. We got the bumper back on it, and yeah, I'll show you guys what we all did. We actually built a custom tranny, or not tranny. We built a custom radiator support and front end support thing here, and this stuff is as solid as it's ever been. We made custom mounts for the radiator. We have custom plates that go down underneath to hold all this stuff in, custom intercooler mount, and then we mounted the trans cooler. This is that $120 Amazon cooler from like a Ford truck, or like a F-350 or something like that. That's what these are. We actually bolted that to the sides of the frame, and now that is solidly mounted. And then we got some hose. I went to Competition Products today and picked up some Dash 8 push lock hose. Got some barb fittings for the tranny, and then I got the dash 8 that ran up to the cooler here. So we have all the cooler lines installed. Everything is nice and neat. We have the motor in. We got Type F transmission fluid in it. We actually went to every Walmart within like a 50-mile radius of here to buy all the Type F they had. So we got 1 quart left, and each Walmart had like 4 quarts of Type F. So we got Type F in the car now completely. It's all Type F. It's not half regular and half Type F or whatever like it used to be. So anyways, so we got the car filled with tranny fluid, filled with oil. I feel like there's some other small things that we did. We did so much stuff today, guys. I just wanted to update you a little bit. Yeah, we put the motor in, obviously. But yeah. Moral of the story, we got it running, and the PTC converter is too tight. So that's kind of a bummer. We actually started the car, and on initial startup, the car had 60 psi oil pressure, which is amazing. I don't think this frickin' motor car has ever had that much oil pressure, so that is awesome. Once it was hot, after I ran the car for like a half hour, messing with the trans brake a bunch and all that, it dropped down to like 30 psi, and that's with a 10W30 weight oil, and it's still on break-in oil. I'm going to change the oil, and I'm actually going to run 2050 in this car because a lot of race car guys that have stock bottom end stuff and are actually going fast reliably are all running 2050 or like a 1540 at minimum. So I think I'm actually going to change out to Schaefer's 2050 tomorrow, and then we're going to play with some settings on the tune to try to get this thing to build boost, but it's literally acting the same as my old converter or tighter. It's acting either tighter or the same as my old converter, which is kind of annoying because I spent over $1,000 on this torque converter, and I just said like, hey, it's a 4.8. Kind of gave him all the specs, and I told him I'm going to need a 4,500 RPM two-step to get this turbo to light off any sort of boost, because right now, sitting on the brake for like 5 to 8 seconds, it still only builds like 2 to 3 pounds of boost, and I can't get any RPM out of the motor to get it to stall up any higher. So I'm going to do some timing changes on the tune tomorrow. I'm only running like 25, 26 degrees maybe at 1 pound of boost or whatever it is, and I might try to run 30 to try to get it to light off a little better and to get it to build boost a little bit faster on the brake. But yeah, that kind of sucks that the converter, I'm not necessarily blaming the converter because I haven't even really driven the car, but it definitely feels really tight. Like you shift and it thuds pretty hard. It doesn't seem like it's loose enough for this setup. It could be, maybe not. I'm not sure, like I said. So some street driving will probably tell us if the converter is too loose or tight or whatever. But from just feeling it out so far, it seems like it's too tight. Another thing that I was possibly thinking is, I know I've been watching John Dock a lot lately, and he had a VS Racing 88 millimeter on a 5.3 with the same back housing and stuff as this one. This has the 96 wheel on the back. Big old freaking housing, exhaust housing there. And he was having issues, same kind of thing, where it was just lazy and it wouldn't leave the line like it should have. So I either A, need to change a converter, which I don't really want to do because I just bought this and I just got everything together, just got fluid in it, don't really want to change the converter, or change the turbo to maybe a smaller one. I don't know. But like I said, ever since I put this Billet 80 on, it's been really hard to get it to build boost on the two-step, and I've been battling it ever since I put it on. I've been battling trying to get this turbo to light off at any sort of boost level, and I figured a looser converter would help, but this converter isn't loose enough. So I would like to get something that lights off within 2 to 3 seconds that I can get popping on the two-step and then bump in. I just ordered a bump box kit, so I got to get that coming. But if I got to sit on the brake for 10 to 15 seconds, I can't race. Like, I can't actually competitively race. So, I mean, I can race myself and just go for times like I always do, but if I feel like if I'm going to go out on a Friday night and go racing at the track, I want to be able to have a bump box and bump in and race and have fun. So, I don't know. like I said, a little bit annoying with the converter situation here, but we're gonna see what we can figure out. The motor runs flawless, guys. It sounds great, has good oil pressure, and I'm very happy with that. It sounds smooth, doesn't have any issues there, and that cross member thing that me and Christian built today turned out fucking awesome. All this stuff is nicely compact in here. We actually moved the radiator forward a smidge, so we don't have issues with the cap hitting the hood anymore, so that's another plus. And yeah, I don't know what else I can do. Maybe the downpipe is restricting the turbo, not allowing it to spool up as fast, because this is a 4-inch, I think it's a 4-inch V-band on the end of the turbo, and I necked it down to 3.5. So I don't know if that's causing any issues with spooling, but I don't know, like I said. So the turbo itself is like in great condition. It doesn't have like barely any shaft play. It spins very freely. Like I can just spin it with my hands and it just sits there and spins. So yeah, I don't know. I want to get this figured out because I want to go racing, and this thing's just really getting me the itch to go racing. I got to get a drive shaft too soon, because this drive shaft's pretty banged up from me trying to get it in and out of the trans. I want to get a custom made drive shaft for this thing and get some rear end parts for it. So if you guys have a hookup, please let me know. We're getting Christian's car ready to race as well. He just got some, we made an up pipe for it today and a dump tube, so he has hood exit wastegate and hood exit turbo now. Again. He mainly just wanted it for, you know,
Because it's cool.
Cause
and
it's
I have
cool.
a daily now, so.
Yeah, and Christian got a Geo Tracker now, so this thing isn't necessarily as daily anymore. It's more a race car now. But we were messing with this the last couple days too. We put the trans in and out of it a couple times and figured out that Christian didn't align the locator pin on the clutch side of the transmission on the D-Series. There's like a locator pin that allows the shift selector to slide up and down, and he like put that in wrong.
Fucked it up.
He fucked it up. So it wasn't shifting properly. So we had to take it all apart, file that down, put it all back together, slam it back in, and here it is, and it's finally running.
Yeah.
So we've been crazy busy out here lately, trying to get everything done. I got a car outside right now that's a pretty cool one that we might be working on as well. And we'll probably be tuning that tomorrow, hopefully. And then street driving the Mustang, getting the oil changed, and yeah, I got a bunch of stuff going on. But thanks for watching the video, guys. I know it's kind of boring. I'll leave you off with a little fire up of the Mustang. The Mustang. Fucking Mustang door handles. Alright. Yeah, it's still got like 38 PSI of oil pressure, and we were running the car like an hour ago for a half hour or so, so that's not bad, and that's with 1030 weight oil. I think switching to 2050 will bump the pressure up even more, and I want to run more pressure just to help keep the motor alive longer.